We have 7,500 now personnel dedicated in Southern California, close to 4,000 CHP, 2,000 Caltrans workers, mutual aid, all across the region, making sure that people are safe and making sure people are vigilant.
Governor Gavin Newsom declaring a state of emergency for most of Southern California as the region is bracing for an historic storm.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, it is Sunday morning. Time now is 8:30 in the morning, and you are watching a CBS 8 News special report. We are here for you to make sure that everyone's safe through this storm. We do want to begin with a live look right now at the radar, and it looks like we've been watching this kind of come through. People waking up to the sound of rainfall this morning.
And Hilary has just been downgraded, Evan, from a hurricane to a tropical storm officially, but wow, lots of green on that map there.
Oh, still plenty of rain and wind that's going to be coming through our county as we head through the next several hours. So let's start off with that live radar. You can see how there's a lot of green on the screen. Now keep in mind, these are mainly the lighter outer bands. If you've been outside so far today, we haven't really picked up on a ton of accumulating rain thus far because you don't really see much of the yellow or orange or even red coming through on the screen. Those are going to be areas of more intense rainfall that we are expected to see. A little bit of a wider picture shows you where those bands are. To the south of us, just to the southeast of Ensenada. So we're going to watch as this storm continues to move north. As you heard Eric say, it is now officially Tropical Storm Hilary, no longer a hurricane. So as Hilary was once a Category 4 hurricane, she continued to travel north with that northerly trajectory. She encountered much cooler ocean water. Keep in mind, the ocean water down several hundred miles to the south of us is closer to 90 degrees. That's the fuel that this storm needs. As it made its way north, it encountered closer to 70-degree ocean temperatures. At least that's what it'll be seeing by the time it gets towards San Diego. So as it moves north, it downgrades and deteriorates, and that's what we've been seeing progressively. Yesterday afternoon, this was still a Category 3 storm, then downgraded to a 2, then a 1, closer to about 8 p.m. last night, and now a tropical storm. Sustained winds around the eye wall of 70 miles per hour. It's moving at about 25 miles per hour, which is a pretty decent speed of it. And then we've got it right now, 220 miles south-southeast of San Diego. All right, so let's zoom in on its path. Right south of Ensenada as we speak. It's going to keep moving north from here. There's a chance that we see landfall closer to the Ensenada area. We still are expecting that the first U.S. city that this tropical storm will touch will be San Diego. Tropical storm status still holds at 5 p.m. That's closer to when we expect landfall to be, but as you can see, it's just to the north of us around that time. So that means that in this stretch, we could start seeing our more intense winds and rain closer to about 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, this is a front-loaded storm, meaning that the bulk of the rain and wind is going to be before this storm makes landfall. And that's why we're putting it as early as about 11 a.m. as the time that we'll start to see our most intense wind and rain come through. Live look at Otay Mountain. We're facing west. We've got overcast skies, and that's been the case for the majority of the morning. All right, let's summarize what we've got on hand. Rain and wind continue to increase in intensity throughout the day. Mountains and deserts have the highest concern of flash flooding because they have the heaviest accumulations of rain expected. For the coastline and inland, wind is probably going to be a bigger concern than the rain. We do expect still plenty of rain on hand, but wind is going to be a huge concern for the coastline. Expected to make landfall today in the afternoon hours as a tropical storm. So we'll continue to bring you the latest, but Eric and Netta have more on what's going on across the county.
Yeah, we do have reporters, photographers, staff spread out all over the county right now to give you the best look of what's happening here as Tropical Storm Hilary is approaching.
Yeah, we want to make sure you're covered so you know what's happening in your neighborhood. Of course, Evan has been tracking this so closely, and the rain, as he forecast, has arrived here this morning. Let's send it over now to Dana Marie McNichol. Dana Marie, first of all, where are you? What's it like out there?
Well, good morning, Eric, Netta, and Evan, working hard in the studio. We are out here in San Ysidro, right at the border crossing, giving you a perspective, your eyes and ears this morning of what is going on. Now, I do first want to start what I'm feeling. The raindrops, they are light, nothing too intense. Something very similar to what we experienced in the months of February and March here in San Diego. The roads, of course, wet. We don't seem to see too much flooding in this area. The freeways, again, a lot of people are not on the road this morning. They've been heeding the warnings. There has, of course, been warnings over the past couple of days, especially stay off the roads south of the border. And it really seems though people have listened, because on an average Sunday at this time, the wait is over an hour to cross the border by car. But right now it's about a 5-minute wait. The pedestrian crossing also 5 minutes. So not a lot of people in this area. Again, it's very quiet. We're not seeing a lot of people going into Mexico, of course. That's even where the storm could be even more intense before it enters this area, hitting Ensenada, hitting areas of Tijuana first before San Diego. So, of course, we're your eyes and ears. We're going to be live here all morning long. But, you know, I could even take my hood off, and it doesn't really seem to be too windy as well. As you can see, my hair's not really moving too much. If you have an area that you want us to take a look at in the San Ysidro area, please just let us know. Of course, again, we're your eyes and ears out here as the storm continues to intensify as we get into the later hours of the morning, as Evan mentioned, at 11 a.m. Again, those border wait times crossing and as a car, only 5 minutes right now.
Dana Marie, thank you for that. Yeah, so the tropical storm now, Hilary, is this, when it does hit our state here, Southern California, will be the first tropical storm we've had hit our county in 84 years. So yes, this is a historic storm.
Right, certainly because of the warnings that we've seen. Of course, tropical storm warning in effect for San Diego, which has never had to be issued for us here before by the National Hurricane Center. So already making history in many ways. And of course, it's been, you know, going just off the coast of Mexico, off of Baja, for at least 24 hours now, causing impacts further south. But as it works its way up north, we're going to get that rain as we've been seeing this morning, and it will pick up a little bit. So we do want to get you covered here throughout many regions. CBS 8's Regina Yurita is joining us live now in Chula Vista. And I know some of our crews that live out there came to the station from out there. Regina, saw the heavy rainfall. What's it like right now?
Yeah, well, guys, I can tell you right now, we're definitely experiencing different types of rain, right? Right now, it's pretty calm, but just a couple seconds ago, there was a large downpour right now, and so people are coming over here to a location where Chula Vista had, it was behind the City Works public facility, so people could pick up free sandbags. But, you know, you can see right now it's completely empty because, yes, update is still that they ran out of sandbags. There's hardly anything, so people are coming over here. They're actually asking us, do you know where the nearest location that the city has put out for us to pick up free sandbags? And right now we're trying to let them know that Chula Vista doesn't have an update. There are other locations and other areas to pick them up. I asked them if there were.
Yes, our crews are battling the weather out there as well, and so is our equipment. Right. So yeah, definitely wet where she is at right here. We do have a live look for you right now at Imperial Beach. Why don't we show that to our viewers here? We are expecting some strong surf, and you can see those waves already increasing in size here by the pier dramatically.
Yeah, looking at what the Weather Service was issuing, of course, there's so many warnings all across our region, but a high surf advisory is part of that. Oh, is that a surfer in the water?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
this
a couple people out there.
Suggested to head out there and take advantage of these high waves here. It can just get too dangerous too quickly out there. We do know that 7,500 emergency officials have been deployed across the state because the state is worried about the flash flooding, the mudslides, even isolated tornadoes that could happen from this, the high winds. And of course, the widespread power outages are a major concern. Be sure to get our CBS 8 app, download that right now for the latest information as well. But I just took a look at the SDG&E power outage map. Nothing so far, so that's great to see. We're keeping a close eye on that. We're hoping that we don't see these power outages here in our county.
And we've been letting people know to have your phones fully charged just in case, because we will of course have all the updates on your app on your phone. That way you can get the latest. I mean, all the advisories, things like that, and the impacts of the rain.
It wasn't that long ago.
The day.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. 48 hours ago, this was a Category 4 hurricane, Evan, and here we are already now a tropical storm before it makes landfall in San Diego.
When I came in yesterday, it was a Category 3. That was closer to yesterday afternoon. It was downgraded to a Category Category 2 around 1 p.m. yesterday, Category 1 by the time we got to about 8 p.m., and now a tropical storm as of just about.
If we could talk about too, we just saw the live look of Imperial Beach, the ocean. Our ocean, it's a lot colder than what it is further south.
Right.
So.
And that's exactly why this storm is breaking apart. I mean, when you're looking at where it once was as a Category 4 storm, ocean water temperatures were closer to 90 degrees. As you may know, if you've been in the ocean anytime recently, our ocean water is not anywhere near 90 degrees. We're closer to 70 degrees. So with that deteriorating storm, it's deteriorating because we are seeing that cooler ocean water. Still, nonetheless, we're watching as a hurricane warning remains in effect, tropical storm warning for us in San Diego. So there's quite a difference on hand versus if you are in Baja versus if you are in San Diego. We're still expecting this storm to bring quite a bit of rain and wind our way. It's important to be prepared for it. We, of course, then can celebrate on the back end if we don't get as much rain as we expected or as much wind as we expected, and you were still prepared. You had a full tank of gas, you had non-perishables, you had an emergency preparedness kit. These are all things that we're not going to apologize to you for having you prepared, because it's better to be prepared or over-prepared than to be under-prepared. And that's what we were worried about as this storm was approaching as a Category 4. The whole time we expected it to deteriorate to a tropical storm and make landfall as a tropical storm. And that's still what we are on track to see. Watches, warnings, advisories extend from Southern California all the way up through Nevada. We also see a good portion of western Arizona covered in those. Yellow on the screen showing a wind advisory. We also see in the green, which is overlaid below all of the yellow and the red. So everywhere where you see yellow and red is also under the green being a flood watch. Now, when we see the flood watch in play, what that essentially says is that the ingredients are coming together for the possibility of a flood. It does not mean that a flood is actively happening. It also does not mean that there is any flash flooding that we have on hand. National Weather Service would issue a separate flash flood advisory if that were to take shape. So we're watching as the National Weather Service clues us in on these storms and these separate cells that are coming through, some of them packing a bit more intensity than others. Tropical storm warning is in play, flood watch, high wind warning that we see as well. All right, let's time the storm out for you from here through the rest of the day. It's 8 a.m., 8:40 or so, right? And we're watching as some stronger bands begin to move north. We'll watch as Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells, and our mountaintops in particular start to see those stronger bands come through, orange and red, and then we'll see even along the coast some stronger bands too. This is going to continue to intensify between now and about 5 p.m. or so, 2 p.m., right where we see the bulk of this rain coming through. Notice a hefty amount of it, thankfully, is off on the Pacific, so not making its way to San Diego, but we're still looking at those outer bands and expecting some severe thunderstorms embedded in this, some very strong and gusty winds, and this storm will then keep traveling north. Now, on the back end of this storm, we're not completely out of the woods. We still have a good chance of some embedded thunderstorms here. You see orange popping up on the screen, especially over the mountaintops. That will continue all the way through 9, 10, 11 p.m., and then we see nearly dry weather going into tomorrow morning. Because this storm is now moving so much faster than it originally was, we are expecting it to be completely out of our hair by the time we get into Monday afternoon. And in some cases, it looks like Monday morning could even be that trajectory. I want to focus in on wind gusts in particular after we show this. So 1.5 to 3 inches in total across the coast and inland, 5 to 7 inches across the mountains, 3 to 4 for the deserts. These are still our forecast totals that we are looking at. As far as your wind speeds go and wind gusts, right now it is breeziest over the mountains. We'll see that wind start to spread west, and that's where the coastline and inland we're looking at gusts climbing to the 30 and 40 mile per hour range at times as the storm starts to head our way. So there will be those brief bouts of stronger, gustier winds that we're going to encounter. And that's what we're focused in on along the coast and inland versus flash flooding as the primary concern for the eastern slopes of the mountains as well as the deserts. That's where we're going to be clued into the possibility of flash flooding with just how fast that rain could be coming down.